you got control of recording on both sides, basically. I see you as a plant. I see you as a huge, giant plant talking to me. And it's like your energy sphere is not your energy sphere. It's just like a big, giant tunnel that goes and goes. And then it's like teleports you into this big green planet that the grass is not grass, but it's covered with leaves that look more like the corn leaves, very long, tall, thick. I don't know, more like aloe vera, and that's actually what you eat. So you've been incarnating on this planet into plants, into animals, and also some other form that looks like boy, it's like a moving tree of some sort. I don't know what it is. It's like the energy, the large energy that has to, it takes certain configurations, positions, and when it connects, so it's like imagine the big green light, it's like a beam of light coming from the planet's surface, and it goes into the atmosphere and spreads as a big tree or a palm tree branches, which produces, it's almost like I see like it produces some gas which layers atmosphere and lets the atmosphere absorb it, breathe with it, live with it, and nurture uh, whatever it is flying in it, which is looks like kind of two leaves put together like a butterfly but without a body in hand, just like two leaves flying in the atmosphere all the time. You say that it's self-propelled atmosphere, which is conscious breathing entity of its own, and it needs the energy of that green, of those green poles coming from the essence of the planet. And then it, as it grows in consciousness, it reconfigures itself because what you do is you come to different planets as a group of 20 with other souls like yours, and you like to direct and organize the life there to make the planet function more efficiently, to make that particular planet where you go into to to grow in consciousness and mature faster. Because I see you in this, the whole thing here, it's not, yeah, it's like a big round planet. It's more, it's not as solid as ours, but kind of reminds me tropics like Amazon and Earth. What they, what the pictures show, kind of like that. There are rivers, there are ponds with different interesting beings in them. I see some rainbow moving energy. It looks almost like a snake or something, but it's like rainbow, and a rainbow is, it's constantly, the stripes of the rainbow keep moving, keep moving. But you're this big plant, and there are other big plants, and you can you're very tall, you're like aloe vera type, and you fill yourself with water from the surface, and your leaves grow bigger and thicker. And then the leaves, they nurture the animals, because all animals eat the same. They kind of bite off a little bit of you, and then you regrow it real fast because it's built in mechanism that you have inside of you. You have some sort of like structure, like a leaf would have, little veins inside of you, and that's where your soul resides, in there. But it's actually about what you're about is about like organizing the healing and development and growth and spiritual growth of everything, including the planet itself, whenever you go to. Because as if you were that circle of you 20, you create actually a circle around some particular area of the planet that is dying out or that is having problems energetically. Um, Sometimes it's actually something happened to one of the animals, or they're not developing correctly according to the program built into the energy of the body of a soul, because it's very it's only Italian word that comes to me, sottile, like thin layers of energy, built over, like overlaid. And inside is that's what the essence of the soul. And you can move. I see rocks move. I see you move. Rocks are all perfectly round, like almost like rock balls. And they're this like bright green color. And you say it's stability rocks, and also these are the rocks that show the vibration of the planet and how happy the planet is. And you can look into them and talk to the planet. They're like amplifiers of the telepathic connection with the um, essence of the soul of the planet, because it's like the energetic threads going to the center. And but the rocks move because, oh, that's like a communication device, because the planet's essence moves the rocks throughout the planet. And when there's particular species, there's just like the white mice, but they're big, running around. They're very cute. They have this almost like abnormally big eyes, which look like crystalline structure eyes. They're blue eyes in the white fur, just like our mice, but the pupils are different. They're kind of like rhombical. And if the planet wants to communicate something to those species or the other ones, and they all live in different kind of places, and so the rock goes in there, and they know to look into the rock and connect. It just kind of like interesting designed, and there's just like giant flowers all over the place, and they look like bright orange lilies, but the brightness of it's almost like electric orange. I don't know how to explain. It's like fluorescent, so bright, but it's like attracts you. And they also, for they absorb energy, they transform energy. They're energy transformers. But then I see something happens. I mean, if I go in the timeline from here, that's a planet you remember, you enjoy, because you also incarnate into this crew sometimes, but it's more related to other planets. Your subconscious wants to focus on this one because it seems like that's their last incarnation before your forced incarnation on Earth. Because it's totally forced. I see here I feel it. I see the grays coming. There are like a group of 12 of them with 5 short ones and 12, yeah, and 7 big ones, tall ones. And they're hovering over the planet. They're not going through the layers. They simply cannot. They're afraid because you can use the flowers to shoot them energetically, because flowers collect energy, but then they kind of spread energy in the fountain of it. They can also be used as um, zappers, to zap somebody with energy, and especially if those beings are low vibrational like grays, they would be like as if somebody shot you with the gun type feeling. They would have that, so they don't want to go there. That's your protective mechanism, like what you do. But I see some scooping device. It's like, that machine that catches, like kids play with toys or whatever, the hand was the metallic claw. And I see like a scooper, but it's like an excavator type thingy. It's actually totally mechanical because it comes from their spaceship and goes down on like a tube, like a hose type thing, and just grabs like just weird. It expands, it gets big, and it catches 5 of you from 20 and gets it into this claws and brings it in, like as if somebody's pulling a rope into the spaceship. And then I see on the ship. And that's just an experiment they want to do. First, they study you. They study you, what you can do. They look at your DNA. I see the screen that they can do this with the hand, and it zooms in, the zooms out, as if they're scanning your DNA and looking what you can do. And because whenever you are, you can actually pull the people needed to hold the space for your own energy that you spread. It's almost like a bubble of healing that you can put around a person type thing. But for that, in that incarnation, you needed others to do it. They want to see how you would do, but the opposite. There's something is this project is something different that they want to try to do. They want to try your own abilities against you, and it's for, let's see how we can test some programs of self-destruction or self-sabotage or self obstacle putting on the way, and the person rationally would not know what subconscious is doing because the program is totally in the subconscious. And I see like a black cube in your head, and that's what they inserted. Nothing else, just this one on that spaceship that they see. It's like I see your energy. They put like in a long test tube. And then it's just a weird thing that I see here. It's like a thing, like they have this big test tube, which is what you see in cloning facilities, but then it leans over, and then they open a lid up, and then there's a body of a clone that they created using your DNA, only one, and they put your essence, and then in that body, I see this cubis. That's where it is. And then they've been sending projection of that. So yeah, it's kind of like makes my head spin because it's kind of complicated because the actual body of you right now, I see their spaceship as well as the other four of Simula, but they look different. Some of them are shorter, different facial features depending on the DNA, because your DNA is slightly different, but there's one main characteristic that you all share is that you can heal and restructure any surface, any spot, any place where you physically present or energetically present in the physical body. Um, and so it's like the first two lives, they sent a projection of that on Earth. But then, because they weren't sure how it was going to work, whether the program could overpower your DNA, even if they turned it off, but then it worked. And those are kind of like strange lives. It was like far away from people. I see like a village, and you would be like living all by yourself in the woods somewhere. But that was done because it was like a projection of a person, which people actually view like a physical, what we call biro, but something like this, because they have the technology to do a projection in the physical reality. It would manifest as a physical. But the problem is that projection cannot, have kids, marry, whatever, live with anybody, so it has to be on its own. But this way they absorb the knowledge that you needed and were able to implant those two lives into you, which are not really yours, because they were artificially created. And on top of that, they could create 18 more lives, which you would live. So basically, you're living the life number 20, which is kind of interesting because those numbers coincide with the group of 20 that you would usually go to other planets with. And but yeah, in reality it's 18. But I also feel like they pushed you through the life so quickly and they made you present. Not much. Because what I see is like 7 is lighting up all the time, which is I see 6 million years ago, the one, but they wanted to see how you would cooperate and function and adapt to the human beings back then. And also these other forms that are now present in here, and how those lives of constant, there's a lot of fear in those lives, because I also see the dinosaurs walking around, the huge, and you're like hiding from them and things like that. And in a way, it gives you an adrenaline rush of like being rushed to do things and run away from things, and it has an impact in creating the life, which they kind of wanted to amplify this constant worry program. They worry that you have to do something more, that it's not enough, or something else more to do, or to explore, or build up together, put together, and figure things out and things like that. And also, like, they would put you specifically in artificially designed circumstances where you would kind of support, the way of thinking would be supported. So it's like never easy in big letters. That's what, according to the contract they created for you. It's like their so-called destinies. Um, so basically, all these 18 lives, I see you in and out. It's like I see lives like this, and then I see your essence going in and out quickly, 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 and not really living to the fullest, kind of like that. Um, you're standing right now. I see there that cube in your hand. That's a device that I see Grays use a lot to collect information and to blend the information or put it through the filters of AI. So AI filters and takes whatever it needs to, because they literally, like, filters look like nets inside the cube, and they're made out of that tiny, like, black goo spider webs. There's 3 of them, layers, and the information gets collected in those squares because it goes like a grid system. Um, and then there's a cord that goes like from top to the center. It signifies, it's like division of thought, feeling, expression, and verbal expression. So it goes like this, all the way down, and ends where the legs begin, basically, but straight in the middle of the body, goes through all the solar plexus, um, gastrointestinal tract, and um, down through the area of reproduction, and down. So it's just by, it's almost like they anchor you that way. So you're hooked up to this spaceship through that cube. From the cube, it's almost like the cube has this thing. From that thing goes the that thread that is usually hooked to, in a lot of people, to the layers of the earth that we call the dome. This one is hooked up to the spacecraft. Um, and it goes through the opening at the bottom of the spacecraft, and it goes underneath the table. This kind of goes like through the computer screen and onto, back to the floor, and then underneath that sarcophag or whatever it is, like transparent capsule looking thingy with that prototype of yours, of your body, would get changed a bit in every life, but the idea stays the same, like the main features, I guess, that represent your own essence are there. So you take that cube out. I see you holding it, and you pull that cord in. It's very kind of like thick, unpleasant cord. And you're just opening a portal. You're just drawing it with your finger, opening the door, putting it all out. I see a little kind of like little dots in the fingertips. Also, let me see what it is. Almost like grains of sand or something. Kind of like a darkish gray color. They just to stop the expressions through the hands, or to energy release through the hands. And then because of stopping that, it's almost like I feel like heaviness in the chest or something like this. I don't visually see it, but I feel like energetically it causes the energy that is like try to flow through that whole thing, it being stopped all the time. It just goes like this, and you feel through the heart, And that's why you keep like trying to push that energy out and push it through so it flows freely through that area where that connection with the soul's essence is. And it just simply looks like a wind. I mean, how do you describe wind? That's how I see your energy flow, and it kind of stops and almost like blood coagulates, and it like coagulates and forms a ball and sits there by the heart or over the heart for a while until you put all your force together and push it through, and it spreads out again as your own energy. But then, of course, those clips, I mean, these chakras, they all look kind of different. This is like clips they create electromagnetic needle, looks like a needle of energy, which makes the energy stop and rotate around them. I see like 7 of them, and you unplug them. You take them out so the energy can flow. And because of that, also that the little grains in the tips of the fingers, you took those out too. You put it like in a plastic box type thing. All of these little devices and just put them, it's like a little fireplace or something, and you're just melting them first in that box and then putting them in the portal. Throw them out. So here's the grays showing up because you called on them. They came standing right there. All of them, the little ones, the large ones, the tall ones. But the tall ones kind of have a funky looking heads because they almost look like they're not perfectly like a drop, but more like insectoid type. I don't even know what insectoid you would, very almond shaped, but like stretched out eyes. And it's more like it's not round here, it's straight down. But anyway, they obviously hybridized or something, but the small ones are those like machine grays, AI. They are the same. There's some being that brings, you ask for a contract. I don't understand what it is. It looks like a few beads on a strand, and those each bead represents a life. The 20, it almost looks like amber beads on a strand. And that's the energy with an imprint of your soul in each one that records the energetic, almost like blueprint of you in each life and how it gets deformed through the outline of the events emotionally and mentally. That's actually the next thing that you're gonna clean those bodies. So you're just melting the beads. It's almost like a grill or whatever you created, just like a metallic plate, and they're just melting into some kind of orangey juice or whatever underneath. And you're just pushing it out to the portal. And also you went straight to the spacecraft. You raised something on computer also with your mind. There's no keypad, nothing like this. It just you pull it with your mind and you raise it with your mind. And that you unplug that prototype of your physical body that's been used to control you better from the spaceship remotely. So they would shut off some of the abilities, they would make you do something in certain situations that you would regret doing, things like that, and just throughout those lives. Because there's different It's like the impulse, like those sensors all around the body on top, like the chest, the bottom, the stomach, the down, the head especially. It's all like covered with some sort of on that particular body, like a helmet with holes and from which those cords are sticking out. And I see on the screen it's like ding 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 ding, like parameters are constantly running through. And then this gray comes and he just like looks at the little screen and then he fixes something or puts it different ways. Yeah, those attachments. Well, you disconnected those. You actually send the information to the other ones, the other four, or like whose bodies prototypes are next to you. They receive the information. Three of them are doing the same thing. The fourth one is like motionlessly still laying, and I think that person must have been brainwashed or something that is not accepting the information from you, not recognizing you. Mm, then you're just going through, just like creating. There's still like a door, and then like you put like a bucket of water and it just pours over the door, and you just walk in through the door. It cleanses your mental, emotional bodies. I don't know why I see this, but you create like a pond with ducks in your energy sphere because you like to sit there and observe them interact with each other and feed them and things like that. Um, your DNA. You're doing something, you're just picking some things out of your DNA. And you're saying, well, it was like they inserted the on top, it was like layered 12, 12, 12, 36. Because on top 12, they were trying to, even though they weren't really functioning, but you revived it with your desire to do so. It's like a human DNA, and then and because they converted your DNA, dissected and just overlaid it. It kind of it looks energetically, it looks kind of like hard to explain, but they can totally take it apart and then put it together this different way. That would create this balance of and disinformation almost in your own like database system. So you're just taking the parts and putting them the right way together. And in a way they magnetize to each other and they shape shift into the original form, which is like this. And it's like a purplish color. But your aura is green and inside is like light purple kind of color. That's a color of peace and healing, and that's what you say, you interpret it that way. But yeah, what you did right now, it's just like I see you on that planet as that aloe vera plant and with others connected as a grid, and the five of you were scoped and you're just like, then you're not being scoped, you stop the film, you cut it out, and you put like a layer of film, like a thick, almost plasticky looking film over your planet so the grays cannot get through because it has a very dense um, energy. And I see those like butterfly thingies. They also formed a layer to support that layer type thing, which is very interesting. They look like leaves. Um, yeah, you took everything out, cleaned there. So you're done in your cleansing. Um, well, basically, I mean, you were running their programs, and their programs according to those beads. They had information of certain events they would put on your way and see how you would react and how you would process information, what what experience would come out of it, so they can record experience and use it for creating other artificial lives that they usually create for other souls incarnated here. So that's just an explanation why you've been feeling like you are contained into something, because it was as if, because you don't have hybrids or clones, but you have this prototype as your clone, constantly stuck in motionless position, and one part of you wasn't him in that figure. I don't even know if it's he or her, but it looks kind of like, yeah. But yeah, that's exactly how you felt, constricted, not knowing how to bring the barrier that is actually transparent, and you can't see it, but you can feel it. That's the feeling. Um, yeah, you can ask questions if you want.
I'm just taking it all in. And a lot of it makes sense as to how I feel about, many things, and the restrictions, the stuckness, and that sense that I'm not living my life to the fullest potential that I desire to. Um, and it just feels good knowing that I have set myself free.
Yeah. Yeah, now you can do whatever you want to do without being that feeling. It's just you're gonna be free as that atmosphere that is a living being in on your planet, moving back and forth, and I see like parts of it move so easily. And you as a plant could move easily, but you could feel so healthy inside, and you're nurturing the animals, you're nurturing the planet. That's what you need to feel. And that's what you've been striving for in this life.
In this life as well, Oksana, I've just had that sense that in many lives I was isolated and alone, and I would like like my children would be taken away from me. I would lose my children, and so my children, my family, have been so important to me in this lifetime that that we remain together. And it doesn't necessarily mean in the same location, but just that I don't lose them.
Hmm. Yeah, because you lost yourself in a way. You lost your family of 20. That's a deep, deep feeling, because you didn't really understand what happened.
Uh,
It's like you were there with them for formed a circle, a strong connection, but then all of a sudden you were at the spaceship in some little test tube, and like what happened, it was that quick. Mm, that's why that it's like deep experience in the soul. It's in your DNA, it's in everything, in your essence there. So you're afraid of like anything unexpectedly happening, like happened to you before. And that just by knowing why it comes and where it comes from, it's going to be eliminated. So the knowledge.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that the ones that are my family now were a part of that 20. It's just that um, that whole
I see.
essence of family.
Yeah, you're spread out everywhere. But I see, like I just saw Brazil right away, and then I see far north, like some northern country like Finland maybe. They wanted to test out the souls at different locations, also related to climate, because you contribute to climate change and in whatever direction they want to sway you and or may use you, because normally you would just heal it or rearrange it the way to be the closest way for the inhabitants, of flora and fauna to be in harmony with, but they usually, at this level, they use souls the opposite to destroy, to distract, to. But I feel like this is an experiment, though. So they were trying to test the surface. Should we get more of the souls and kind of like something will come out of it, or should we just? Don't really feel like I see this. I feel like this Greys. I mean, they're really like to experiment a lot. Take DNA here and there, mix it up, see what happens. Not responsible for the results type feeling from them. It really against the soul's nature because we usually are. We were always are responsible. No matter what galaxy we leave, we feel responsible. Um,
So then, just being in my current state and present life, just confirming I've set myself free, and the beings that my subconscious took us to that particular planet in Incarnation, and those healing skills and gifts, I can access those now.
yeah, they belong to you. They're not blocked anymore.
Wow, wonderful. I just feel this great sense of relief and gratitude.
It's nice. Yeah, you just created this. You're sitting on the grass by the pond. I still see you doing it. And you're just like enjoying watching the ducks. It's your energy sphere. That's what I see. There's like flowers behind you all over. And because we're creators, we can create anything in the astral, for ourselves. And that's kind of it was supposed to be. Without any control system, you can exit the physical body at the whenever you want to and go live a little bit in your astral plane, and you can create the whole week level of it. Stay there and then decide, should I incarnate again or should I go back home, or but then it's been taken over by those beings and created this false astral matrix connected to the egregore of religion and all this deception, guilt you into, tell you, oh, you got karma, or, you
Yeah.
know, feeling of guilty, always guilt is used so much against us.
Yes, it is. And I think an interesting part is I have located myself right now in a place where I'm on what looks like a lake. It's really a retention lake or pond for water, and it's loaded with all kinds of birds and wildlife.
Oh, that's funny. That's what you made for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've just been aware of how much time I can spend sitting and looking out there, and how it's been so healing to my soul. And
Yeah.
yeah, so there's great joy in that, and just the synchronicity
Yeah, because
of
that's
it.
what you're all about. You kind of merge with nature, with outside, and you nurture it with and feel it through. And by feeling through, you add something of your idea into it, how to improve it. It's all about improving something, somebody's life, some territory you're at, something like this. Improvement and healing. So restructuring the everything energetically around you.
Yeah, that's been really important. And like you said, the healing and the uplifting.
Yeah. Thunder's all over the place. Panic.
I'm enjoying the storm behind you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you want, I can stop the recording. We can look at your relatives. If you want it separately, I can do that.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
thank
way
you.
I wouldn't have to edit anything. Okay, let me stop this.